It was supposed to be just another rainy evening on a quiet back road. But when Samuel stopped to help a stranded driver, he had no idea that this simple act of kindness would rip open a past he had fought so hard to bury. Who was the woman with the haunted eyes, and why did her presence summon a shadow from Samuel's old life? What began as a quick roadside favor would unravel into a web of secrets, betrayals, and a truth so dangerous it could destroy an entire town. Before we dive into this story full of shocking twists and buried secrets, comment below where you're watching from today. And if you enjoy stories that blend mystery, justice, and human resilience, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more compelling tales. Samuel Reed had been a ghost for nearly a decade. There was a time, years ago, when his name echoed through courtrooms and community centers alike. A fierce activist who stood against police corruption, exposed corporate greed, and organized protests that shook the local government to its core. But the price of truth had been high. After one betrayal too many, Samuel disappeared, retreating to a quiet town miles away where no one knew his name or the battles he had fought. Now, at 42, he lived as a quiet handyman, fixing fences, patching roofs, and blending into the background. It was the life he thought he wanted. Simple, invisible, safe. Until that night. The rain had been relentless, hammering the windshield of Samuel's rusted pickup as he drove the narrow back roads home. That's when he saw her, standing beside a broken-down car, drenched, struggling with a tire iron too big for her shaking hands. He almost drove past. Old habits had made him wary of getting involved, but something about her face, the panic, the helplessness, made him pull over. "Need a hand?" Samuel asked, his voice low but steady. The woman looked up, her eyes wide with fear. Not the kind of fear you get from a flat tire. The kind of fear you get from being chased. "Please, I didn't know where else to go." Her voice stirred something in Samuel's memory, like a faint whisper from a life he'd tried to forget. As Samuel knelt to fix the tire, the woman's face nagged at him. The freckles, the scar above her eyebrow. It all felt familiar, like a puzzle piece he couldn't quite place. "You from around here?" Samuel asked casually, his hands working the lug nuts loose. "No," she whispered, "but we've met before." Samuel's hand froze on the tire iron, and then it hit him. Her name was Rachel Carter. 10 years ago, she had been a scared teenager, standing on the steps of City Hall, begging for someone to help her family after her father, an outspoken journalist, disappeared under suspicious circumstances. Samuel had been the only one who listened. He remembered promising to protect her. He remembered failing. By the time Samuel got Rachel back on the road, the rain had eased into a soft drizzle. She thanked him quickly, eyes darting toward the tree line like something or someone was watching. "Where are you headed?" Samuel asked. "Nowhere safe," she said, "but thank you." She drove off into the night, leaving Samuel standing in the rain, old memories clawing at his mind. That's when he saw it. Parked just down the road, half hidden behind a line of trees, was an old black minivan. Its windows were tinted, its engine silent, but Samuel knew the feeling of being watched. The past hadn't just caught up with him, it was waiting. The next morning they came. Two men in worn suits, neither introducing themselves, both radiating the quiet menace Samuel knew all too well. "Mr. Reed," the taller man said, his smile thin and humorless. "We represent some interested parties. You offered assistance to a woman last night. We'd like to discuss what she might have told you." Samuel's gut twisted. "Just a flat tire," he lied. "Didn't even catch her name." The shorter man reached into his pocket and placed a small folded piece of paper on Samuel's porch railing. "If you remember anything, or if you're offered anything, we suggest you decline." They walked away without another word. That night, Rachel reappeared at Samuel's door, shaking, her clothes torn. "They found me," she whispered. "I had nowhere else to go." Samuel let her in, his heart pounding with the weight of it all. The secrets, the danger, the price of getting involved again. But one look at her, the same scared girl from 10 years ago, and he knew he couldn't walk away this time. "What do they want?" Samuel asked. "Not what. Who?" Rachel said. "My father is alive. He's been hiding all these years, gathering evidence. They want to stop him, and now they think you know where he is." Samuel ran a hand down his face. He didn't, not yet, but now they'd both been marked. Rachel's father had left behind a file, evidence exposing a conspiracy that stretched from local police to corporate boardrooms. It was the kind of truth that could burn everything down. But exposing it meant coming out of hiding. It meant risking not just Samuel's safety, but the fragile peace the town had given him. "They offered me a deal," Samuel admitted to Rachel. "Money, security, if I just stay quiet." "Will you?" Rachel asked, her voice small. Samuel's jaw tightened. 10 years ago, he'd promised to protect her. He'd failed. This time, he wouldn't. "No," he said, "I'm done running." Samuel didn't just expose the files. He took them straight to the people. Town halls, community meetings, social media. With Rachel by his side, they told the truth, names and all. The backlash was immediate. Threats, bribes, offers of protection if they'd just keep quiet. But it was too late. The community didn't just believe them, they stood with them. Samuel's story wasn't just about exposing corruption, it was about proving that the quiet ones, the ones who disappear, can come back louder than ever. What would you have done in Samuel's place? Would you have taken the money and stayed quiet, or would you have risked everything for justice? Let us know in the comments. And if you believe in stories where ordinary people stand tall against extraordinary odds, hit that like button and subscribe for more gripping tales of courage, conscience, and consequence.